What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out here again at Lake Sonoma. It's been a couple months since I've been out here. We're gonna go here and just have some fun. No real game plan ahead, just kind of a zen day, just to go out there and relax, get away from the rat race. Been really busy at work lately, got some big deadlines coming up in a couple weeks, so kind of stressful. So kind of a de-stress day and just kind of relax and get out there on the lake and see what happens. Haven't really done anything with my rods and reels. Everything is still tied up from Clear Lake, so I have to make some changes there. Probably just going to start out by the dam with the Bass Slayer bait sleigh rig, and then kind of maybe fish around the pylons with the minnow, and then just, I don't know, see what happens. Just have some fun and just relaxing day, and give you a good fishing report. Checked the lake level this morning and it was at 454 elevation. Hasn't changed a whole lot over the last couple months. There was a little bit of a bump early in January when we had the last big rain, but that's kind of leveled off and it's been pretty steady since then. We do have a storm coming in, I think tonight, for the next few days, so we'll probably see a bump in the lake level over the next week or so. So we'll kind of monitor that for you, but let's go ahead and get in the water and get the boat ready and go from there. And so let's go, and I'll get you a water temperature and lake conditions and stuff once I'm out on the lake for a bit. And so let's just go get in the water and get the day going. All right, I'll give you a little quick look at what I'm looking at here. I'll ride down for a second. Turn the live scope around here. All right. So up here along the surface, there's a bunch of bait right here. And there's some smaller fish down here on the bottom. But there's a big school up towards the surface. And I don't know if you can see this, but out here on the surface of the water is little bubbles. All the fish, those little fish are coming up to the surface. Out here, there's a big school of them. on the bank, and I actually saw some of them. Actually saw some of those fish come up to the surface. They're about 3 inches long or so. So big school of bait fish out here. Not really much underneath them. I see some fish down deep. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Here we go with the live scoop. Right there's a cloud of bait. And some fish down here a little deeper. This is 25 foot, 30 foot. Bunch of fish around in here too. So there you go, big old school right there, and another cloud right there. So kind of what I'm targeting right now, different depths. See if there's any fish in there. Switch to underspin and give that a try. So see what happens. Oh, all right. Had a fish just come up, hit the underspin right at the boat, bit the tail off, as you can see. So I need a new bait. But there are a few bass out here. It was a small largemouth, probably about 13 or 14 inches. But followed this thing all the way to the bait, all the way to the boat. Sorry. What's going on, everybody? I'm up here in the Warm Spring side by the campgrounds. I thought I'd give you a little technique of the day. Something I'm trying, something I actually learned years ago fishing a pro-am up at Lake Shasta. I learned this from one of the pros that I fished with way back when, and it's it's the Neko rig. I know we're all familiar with that. Senko with the little ball weight, but instead of using this ball weight, I'll just pull this out of this one because I'm switching baits. We're all familiar with these little weights. Now, something that I learned when I was fishing with that pro is, instead of using one of these, use just a lead bullet weight. And what you want to do is take your nail weight, stick it up there into the bait, and then pull it out. Basically, you just want to drill a hole into that, and then take your lead weight, and you can use tungsten if you want, and then you want to push that bullet weight up into the head of the Senko very carefully. You don't want to tear it. Push that up in there. And what that does, if you can see that, is it flares out that tip and makes it fat, kind of like what a goby head is. When that thing's on there, 1/8 ounce is about as much as you can use. You go to a quarter, quarter is just too fat of a weight. Anyways, do that. I got a little vinyl piece of tubing on there, and then my Neko rig hook, and I just want to take that on there and stick it. Of course, the hook's always facing upward, and then that gives it a little different look. Instead of the big lead ball sticking out of your bait, it gives you a little fat head on there. And so try that with your Neko rig next time you're out here fishing. And that's it. There you go. All right, quick lake update for you. Water temperature, I haven't given you that yet. Over by the bridge, when I first started, it was about 53.5. Now I'm up here in Warm Springs, and it's about a degree colder, about 52.5. Water clarity, about 3 foot, maybe even 4 feet in some areas. Mostly around that 3 foot range. It's a little stained, but I generally drop a white bait down in the water, see how far that goes until it disappears. And I was using my swim bait, the underspan that I was throwing earlier. I dropped that down, and I also tried it with a crankbait. But just drop that down until it disappears, and then check the length of your line from the rod tip down to the bait, and gives you a good idea of how deep it is. And so, like I said, 3 foot, maybe even pushing 4. But with this weather coming in this week, it's going to be some heavy rains. It's probably going to muddy that up, especially up in the creeks over the next week. So that is your lake conditions, water temperature for now. So let's get back to fishing. All right, folks, first keeper of the day on the jig. Got the brown and orange. Nice little keeper. Whacked it out here. Kind of deep out here on a ledge. Goes from about 20 feet down to about 40. And just dragging a jig over the ledge, right on the edge, and whacked it. So let's see if we can get another one. Alright folks, that is it for the day. Time to head in before the rain comes out and everything gets wet. So I ended up running down towards kind of out between Cherry Creek and Brush Creek. Water temperature is about the same, 52 to 53. Water clarity, same as everywhere else, 2 to 3 foot. Some areas a little less, kind of in the narrows, probably a little less than that, but pretty constant water clarity. Fishing a point down there, throwing a darter head, a weedless darter head with a 6-inch robo worm. Hooked into a pretty good one, it felt like. Fish came all the way up towards the boat and then just let go. So that was kind of a bummer. Felt like a really good fish. Didn't get a look at it. Kind of the end of the last half hour or so, 20 minutes, I came up Main Lake to a spot that's usually pretty good. Usually catch some smallmouth on it, and started throwing that darter head and caught a little smallmouth. So that was kind of nice. That was only like 11, 12 inches, so not very big. Threw back out there, working a bait down on this rock, kind of a rock bed that's down there, and fished that, and probably about 30 to 35 feet. All of a sudden the load's up, I set the hook, and about 1.5 pound, 1.75 pound largemouth. So that was pretty cool. Kept fishing that area for a little while. Rod loaded up again down that same depth, and set the hook, got a couple cranks, and then I just let go. Pulled my bait up, straightened out the worm because it's all wadded up on the hook. Threw it back out there. A couple casts later, loads up again. I set the hook, get the fish to the boat. It's about a 2-pound largemouth. So that was about it. Fished for another 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes there, and that was it. So 3 keepers in the boat, 1 dink, and had some other bites and just didn't capitalize on those. The bites are really soft. A couple of those you didn't even feel the bite. It just kind of got heavy, and you just had to set the hook. But with the darter head, I was fishing a rocky area, and you had to feel the rocks and get down in there and just kind of bounce that thing on the rocks really slow. Kind of just shake like a shaky head. You just kind of shake it, and then the fish would just kind of pick it up, and it would get heavy. So like I said, I'm gonna get out of here. Got back to the ramp here. Water temperature showing 53. It's, again, pretty constant. So that is it for today. All right, see you next time, and stay random.